In this lecture, we are going to see applet programming in Java. What is an applet? When we'll use this applet? Applets are small Java programs that are mainly used for internet computing. So applet can be run using the applet viewer and a Java enabled web browser. We have seen in many Java programs that contains main of method where the execution start. But in applet, it does not contain any main of method for initiating the executions. When an applet started, automatically some methods called for call to executes. When we will use these applets, suppose when we need something dynamic to be included in the display of the web page, that time we can use dynamic content. For an example, suppose number of members visited in this page, that information can be displayed, dynamic content can be displayed using the applet. So applet can be embedded in the web page, and when we require some flash contents like creating animations and playing sounds and certain pages that contains flash outputs, that time we can use the applets. Suppose when we want to create a program then make it available on the internet, that time we can use the applet programming. Life cycle on an applet. When an applet execute, then the following methods will be execute. It goes the various stages. In the first, when a browser calls the applet, first automatically this init of method will be called for applet initialization. It contains all the initialization like color settings and creating objects, all those values, initial values set at the init of method. Automatically it will call the start of method. So after init of method, in the lifetime of applet, init of method call only once. And next it called the startup code. It actually contained the code. It start the execution of the applet. Next paint off. Whenever the applet restarted or something, that time it paint off. Stop off. It temporarily pass the applet. Whenever you minimize the browser, you can whenever you move to the next page or web page, then that time the stop off function is called. And destroy method, applet is destroyed, that is applet terminated, execution stops. When you close the browser, then close the web page, then the destroy method will call. See this diagram, there are various stages applet can go through. When a init a function call, it goes to the bound, and after automatically it calls the start of method. So it goes to the running state. Whenever it running, if you move to the ideal state by calling the stop of method. So these methods automatically called when you minimize the browser, then the stop of method called. In all these methods supported by the Java by applet class. Most of the applet programming, the code that inherits the properties of applet class. Ideal, from ideal to against, whenever again you go to back to the page, then the start of method again called. So in the lifetime of applet, init of method and destroy will call only once, and other methods start of and paint of call again and again. Whenever you refresh the page, that time the start of method will be called. These are the methods, init of public, void, init of. Most of the methods from applet class that we can override. So this is for initialization, especially setting the colors and all those things. Start of is invoked after the init of method. So browser, whenever you maximize the browser or minimize, that time is start of. Stop off, it is used to stop the temporarily pass the applet. If you minimize the browser, then stop off method will automatically call. Destroy for it invoke only once, and it close the applet, terminate the applet. This painter function supported from AWT package. This creates an object for graphics. Here you can create and all the like drawings and animations you can create. Is used to paint the applet. It provides a graphics class object that can be used for drawing oval, rectangle like things. Simple applet display methods. How we in other Java programs we have used the system out.println for display output, but in applet we can use the drawstring method for display the text message and other draw oval and fill oval and all those things we can use for or graphics methods for displaying the output. But for text output, display the text output, we are using the drawstring method. So to output a string to an applet, drawstring method used. It is called from the paint of the drawstring. Here is a message x position and y position. X position means where in this place to this place how much distance, and y position means here this height where we want to start our string message. And also you can use set background, set foreground color in the applet. The correct place to set this set background and foreground and can be at init of method. And also you can obtain the current settings of applet by current settings of color by get background, get foreground. Set and set foreground, set background for setting the background and foreground color. And also we can get the current settings of the applet by using these things. So in the init of, you can what are all the things initialization you require, that you can specify in the init of method. Whenever the applet call, it calls only once. It initialize and creating objects and set the color. All those things we can perform at the init of method. This is a applet skeleton. Whenever you are writing the applet program, you should follow this skeleton. Skeleton means the format, what format you have to write for applet programming. In the applet programming, you have to import two files, AWT and applet. This applet contains the applet class. This package contains the applet class, and most of the applet programming extends this applet class for overriding these functions. And almost in the applet class and stop and some classes are empty, and we can override the functions. Init of, this is a template. Init of function for initialization, and start of stop, this is initialization. Start or resume the executions, suspend the executions, and destroy, shutdown activities, closing all the resources, shutdown, it's closing the applet. And paint of called when an applet's window must be restored. எப்பெல்லாம் restore பண்றீங்களோ அப்போ வந்து இது redisplay ஆகும். So this is a format you have to follow when you are writing applet code. How to execute an applet program? How we can execute the app? What are the steps needed to execute the applet program? First, what you have to do, as you know, applet can be run using applet viewer or Java enabled web browser. If you are using Java enabled web browser, you can see the entire content of the page along with the HTML content as well as the applet code. But when you are using applet viewer, you can see only the applet content, output of the applet content only. And this applet viewer supported by the JDK. It's inbuilt in JDK. And suppose if you are going through applet viewer, executing your applet viewer means this portion, this and along with this comment line, before the class you should specify this embed applet tag must be embedded in the Java code along with the comment. This portion applet tag must embed in the Java code. Code means your Java class. After compilation you will get one class file. That class file should be specified here. And height and width of the applet, width and height, this portion must be, this applet tag must be embedded in the Java code. As usual, you can type your Java code and save the file, and save the file in the, for example, first.java given here, the same name of your class name, and compile your code. You will get the first.class file that you can specify in your coding. Like if the file is first.class file created, then I can run your code by command from applet viewer first.java. So then it only runs the applet code only. Suppose you are going for your HTML, then this applet tag, the same applet tag embedded in the HTML code, you can run in any web browser. This is a sequence of events in an applet, and for a life cycle is one example that illustrates the life cycle of an applet. I have imported two files, Applet package and AWT package. For any Applet coding, you must include two these packages, import to these packages. Since it's Applet, I have embedded the Applet, this portion, Applet tag, closing tag and code. Since my class is Applet Life, I have created the appletlife.class height and width I specified. And you should remember, when you are writing the applet, the class must be declared as public. And this is the class name. Extends every applet program, extends applet, so that you can override these methods. Here I have declared yes empty string. Whenever you start run, then it automatically calls the execution start from init of method. And in other Java program, execution start at main of, but here execution start from init of method. So execution start, it set the background color blue and the foreground color red, and init of, so I have added init of word in the string. So whenever it enters in the init of method, it adds the string, append the string to init of, initially empty, and next it calls the start of, it append the start of word, and after start of it calls the paint of method. So paint of method, so again I append the word paint of. Here g dot draw string, I display the string here. So when the when the method paint of execute, it display the string. What it display? Init of, start of, paint of. This top of will call whenever you minimize the browser or minimize the browser window of applet, and destroy when you close the applet. So this is a sequence it called in this lifetime. Init of called only once, and destroy also called only once, and other methods called many times. Output of this program, as we have set the blue background, so blue, and this is a starting point, init of, start of, paint of. After that I minimize the browser 2 times, so I will get the output in the command prompt. And here mentioned in the stop of, hi I am stopped, so 2 times I minimize the browser, so I will get the output, hi I am stopped. Whenever I close the window, hi I am destroyed. Thank you.